Hello, everyone. I am your host, Joy, and you're listening to Romance or No-mance, where love blooms in unexpected places. This is an advice podcast about relationships, whether they be romantic, platonic, familial, or professional. This program is meant for inspiration and entertainment, and is not to be used as a replacement for therapy. If you are having a mental health emergency, please dial 911 or contact a healthcare professional. This program is PG-13, so please view at your own discretion. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Romance or No-mance. Today I am with my classmate, Jessica.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
So we're working on the romance aspect of the podcast.
So fun. But I am still single, open if anyone listening. I have strict guidelines for what I'm looking for. This time around, I want to make sure I do it right.
And I think having strict guidelines and knowing exactly what you want could save you a lot of hardship. I mean, at first it's like, darn it, now I have to find someone who matches all this. But in the end, it really is worth it if you stick to it.
And that is probably where I went wrong in my past marriage. We are so different. We came from totally different backgrounds. You know, we had some similarities, but our overall character was different. Religious beliefs, although eventually he seemed to convert and then that didn't pan out. It's going to make it harder to really find someone. Like, I might be single forever, but I would rather be single than compromise at this point.
That's a very good point, because I think that too many people are in a relationship that they shouldn't be in or that they can't get out of. When you're in a relationship, your goal really isn't to change someone, but to improve each other.
With my next relationship, it really is about compatibility and encouraging each other to be their best selves. I definitely am more cautious, even opening up to allow a relationship, but I really do have to feel like we're on the same page in life and goals and all those things.
The person you're looking for, you don't want to be guarded. You want to be able to be honest with this person, but also you need to trust that they'll be honest with you in return, because it's hard to judge compatibility when you're both trying to put up a front.
That's so true. And, you know, I think I'm a little bit more hesitant to even want to allow myself to have feelings. I definitely have to work through some of those past hurts. I think I've done a decent job over the last few years, you know, through therapy and counseling, and highly recommend it for the general public because we all need someone to talk to. But yeah, I'm a little bit slower for that reason.
Getting through this, would you say that therapy was your biggest help, or were there other factors that contributed to getting better?
So I grew up Christian. You know, I was in the church since I was 18 months old, and I've been raised with certain morals and values since I was little. But going through some hard times, I actually did kind of turn away a little bit just because I was hurt, you know, and when you're hurt, you blame everyone, including God. For a few years, I actually was in a very different place. And just in 2022, I found my faith again. And so that has truly changed my outlook and coping mechanisms. Therapy was a huge help, but I do think that my faith is really what's gotten me past most of the heartache. I'm not saying it's all gone, because I did truly, you know, love this person and was with them for 2 decades. So it's not an easy thing. Some people look at marriage and divorce as like a relationship and then a breakup, you know, but it's so much deeper than that. It definitely is a hard journey.
That's very familiar because it's not romantic, but I had a toxic best friend for 10 years. You know, it's just that battle of like, what should I do in this situation? Like, I've known you for so long, so you're a part of my life, but I don't want to keep you in my life because of how you're acting, but I feel like I need to because we have that connection.
How did you move past that? And how did you decide to cut that relationship off?
It took a long time. I mean, like I said, 10 years.
How soon did you feel this wasn't a good relationship?
About 4 years in. It's just something changed, and I don't know what it was. I think it was just a lot of accepting, like, you're not a failure because you can't change this person. So it's just a matter of accepting and moving on, because it's not too hard to move on once you accept, but it's the acceptance that takes so long.
And, you know, that could be something that you deal with for many, many years. Fully accepting the end of a relationship can really be difficult, especially because you have so much genuine care for that person. So I understand. And I hate that you went through that, but congratulations for recognizing that it wasn't a healthy relationship. Whenever I ended my marriage, we separated, and it was 6 years before we actually got divorced. And that's because it was hard for me to actually officially pull the plug, walk away. I believe in marriage, and, I want to believe in true love. I think I'm a little bit skeptical still, but I do know that there is real true love out there. I do think it is real. I really do look forward to finding this perfect dream man. I literally have a list, and it's like 30 bullet points. And I know that this person won't meet all of those just because I won't meet all of their hopes and wishes. It's not Build-A-Bear,
That's a fun way to think about it.
Even with online dating, like putting all your preferences in, it's still going to be hard to find a person who truly is compatible, even based on that. I'll see several people, but if they're not matching all my stuff, then I'm not swiping on them. Even if they're beautiful, oh, they sound like a nice person. If they were attractive, then, I would swipe on them. Now, even if the person's super attractive, like drop dead gorgeous, and they don't fit the points, I swipe left, and it's really sad. But I know it's not going to be worth it or make sense. So why waste my time?
It was just a shame that some people's insides can't match their outsides. Thinking about lifestyle, what is something that you're looking for in a potential partner?
As my career has elevated, I feel more pressure to have somebody who's also passionate about their work and that has done well in their career. I am the vice president of marketing for a marketing agency. What would be a good pairing for me with my career focus and my education and things like that? I do feel like I probably would fit with someone who's gone through similar situations. But I think someone who's career driven, stable income, hopefully a thriving income. I'm not really concerned if they have children, although I do think I would be a great stepmom because I love children and I just have the one and my son is 18. Someone who's open to children, maybe adopting, open to having an older stepson. Someone who's a Christian who attends church regularly. I am looking for a leader in the household who likes to have fun too. Music is a big passion of mine. So someone who potentially could sing or play an instrument would be a nice little addition. I'll tell you my list though. I last updated this 2 years ago. That's how long it's been since I've really dated or even thought about dating, which is crazy, but I just needed to focus on me and my son and getting him through school. So now 2 years later, I'm just starting to be open to it again. Do you want me to go through the list?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Don't judge me, listeners. Okay, so here we go. My type, Christian is number 1 because that's very important to me. Musical, as I mentioned a while ago. I have on here tall, which I know is superficial, but my son is 6'4", almost 6'5". And so I would prefer to have someone at least like a couple inches within his height. Ideally, tall would be great. Sweet is important to me. I have protective on here, someone who makes me feel safe, gentle, listens, respects me, is responsible, family-oriented, lighthearted, and optimistic. Peace, I have on here, I want someone who brings me peace, who's sensible and logical and patient with me. I feel like I need someone who, is working to understand me and not against me. I put on here, doesn't get annoyed by me. Again, bare minimum. Like, if I'm with someone, they shouldn't be annoyed by me. Stable, loyal, committed, and loving above all else. This one I said always thinks I'm cute, LOL. I have funny, witty, honest all the time, even when it's hard, and someone who doesn't lie to me. So I think the top ones I listed, like Christian, musical, someone who's sweet and funny and makes me feel safe, are the most important.
It's just surprising that more people don't have these qualities. Not the musical one, but I mean, just background stuff.
Okay, I want to hear your list now.
All right. Let me give you some context here. So I am a romantic, so that means I don't feel romantic attraction at all. My goal isn't like marriage or really anything to do with reproducing children, but basically I'm just looking for a companion. So having the emotional connection without the physical contact. But yeah, so background must be Christian, because if your ideals don't line up, then what makes you think other parts of your life will?
It's the foundation for who they are at their core.
I prioritize my family over basically everything. Let's just say if they don't have a good relationship with their family, I'm going to be skeptical.
That should have been my red flag.
Yeah, and also a clean house too, because you can have a really sweet family, but if you guys can't keep your house straight to a reasonable degree, that just hints at something that I don't want to go through. I'm just looking for someone who's responsible. Another thing that is on my list is health and hygiene, because my family's always had a bunch of health issues. A lot of the time, I'm the only healthy person in the family.
And I like that you have that on your list because wanting to have someone who cares about themselves and takes care of themselves is really great.
I think self-care is an important quality because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it'll rub off on me.
Yeah. And sometimes you like have to force that into your schedule. If there are things that you like to do, like getting your nails done or a massage or spending an hour by yourself at lunch or something, there's simple things you can do for self-care, but sometimes you literally have to book it on your calendar. I encourage you to do that.
And then appearance doesn't really matter to me. The one thing that does is height, because I'm only 5 feet tall and there aren't a lot of people my height, and I'd rather not have to crane my neck to talk to you.
So you're looking for someone not super tall like me. So we're opposite.
I actually do feel safer with someone who's closer to my height because they can't pick me up and run off with me.
That makes sense. That's so funny.
Yeah, and then another really simple thing is just don't be allergic to dogs because I'm a dog person.
I love dogs. That's such a sad life to not be able to be around animals.
I know. And then no kids. I volunteered at church to do the church camps and stuff, so I don't mind kids, but it's just being around them would be draining, honestly. Maybe it'll be different in the future, but I mean, like I said, I'm only 21. I still feel like a kid myself, so I don't think I have the mental authority because honestly, if my kid's playing in the sand pit, I'm going to join them. I'm not going to tell them to get out of there.
I'm 38 and I honestly still feel like a kid. I'm growing up still too.
There really aren't a lot of other things on the list aside from like values.
Let's hear a couple though.
All right. Strong work ethic.
It's important because that, again, ripples into other areas of your life, like strong work ethic around the house and strong sense of responsibility as a parent or a spouse.
Another thing is know when to be serious and know when to mess around. Just someone who's able to read the room.
That's an important quality in life and business, and friendships. I agree.
And then I'm not looking for someone who's physical or clingy, but someone who has an emotional attachment. Someone who shows that they care.
Yes, I like that.
Short and sweet of all of that is if you can drive and feed yourself, be self-dependent, because as much as I want to, I can't always be there for you 100% of the time. So just, make sure you can feed yourself, drive yourself in case something goes wrong.
I think these are all very practical things that you're listing.
Yeah, just, clean the house occasionally if I can't do it.
A teamwork kind of attitude, not gender role things going on.
Exactly. Be versatile.
I like it. I do think we have some similar qualities on our lists. What is your status of relationship, and are you actively looking if you're not in one?
I am single. Like I said before, aromantic, so not quite looking for romance specifically, but just looking for a companion who will emotionally support me.
So are you actively looking? Are you on dating sites? Are you kind of just like open to it when you're out and about?
So I am not really looking right now. I'm not on any dating sites because, if you're on a dating site, people will get the wrong idea. Kind of a funny thing. One of my friends was like, "You're not looking for romance. You're looking for a roommate." I'm like, "Yeah, I am kind of looking for a roommate just because I'd like to live with someone. Just looking for that emotional connection that maybe not all roommates have.
Mm-hmm.
Some roommates just happen to live with you in the same house. They have no emotional connection. It's just in and out. I'm just looking for someone to live with, but we just get each other, I suppose."
You mentioned not necessarily looking for marriage. Do you see yourself getting married in the future?
Probably not.
Okay, I want to hear more about this. I feel like there's a story behind it.
So one of the things about me that I've worked on for years is that I am androphobic. For people who don't know, I have a mild fear of men. I've had some negative experiences in the past,
Aw,
so
I'm sorry to hear that.
having myself tied to a guy just doesn't seem that appealing.
Mm-hmm. Have you been in a relationship?
I have not. I've always been aromantic, so the idea of romance has never really appealed to me.
Well, I think that just means that you have a very special person out there. I do think that there is someone for everyone on earth. I really do. In my heart, I believe my next relationship will be someone who is meant for me.
Yeah, God puts people in your life for a reason.
100%.
Maybe one person's just a phase of your life.
A learning experience sometimes, unfortunately. But I do think that he can turn anything for his purpose. And so we do things that are not always in line with the vision for our life. And so even if you do detour, I think it can still turn back for good. And that could be in relationships or even just in your own personal journey. I really do believe in love. I'm just a little bit hardened right now. I love to love on people, and I love to make people feel important and valued and all those things. And so when I am in a relationship, I throw my all into it. And so I think I would be a good partner for someone if they meet my 30 list here.
The way people treat their family is a big reflection of how they'll treat you.
Well, they say how a man treats his mom is how he'll treat you. My ex-husband does not have a relationship with his mom at all anymore. I just wish I would have known what I know now.
Yeah, because I think as a kid, you don't have a lot of experience in the world, and you don't realize that your parents do these things and say these things like, don't do this, for a reason.
Yeah, I definitely should have seen those signs, but here I am sharing with y'all. Like, if your guy or girl does not have a good relationship with their parent, it's not always a reflection of them, but look into it further because it can play out to affect y'all's relationship in the future. 9th grade is when I met my ex-husband. Or no, I actually met him in the summer of 8th grade, which is crazy because my son is now 18. And so I had already met his dad years before my son's current age. So it's just weird things coming back around and me being really concerned about who he chooses for his partner. He's actually never had a girlfriend, at least not an in-person girlfriend. Maybe he has a little friend online. I wouldn't be surprised. It's interesting because in the school he goes to, he recently gave a presentation on the next 10 years, and he does have a goal to find a wife and start a family in 10 years, which I thought was beautiful, especially because he hasn't had like an actual girlfriend, but it's something that he wants. And so I need to ask him about his list.
So as a parent, I'm assuming that you're kind of hoping that your kid would have similar values to yours on that list.
Yes.
Are there things that like you are okay with deviating from that list?
So my wish for my son is he'll find someone who doesn't want to change him because he has his quirks and flaws and it makes him beautiful and unique. And so I really do pray that he can find a spouse who doesn't want to change him but wants to help him grow. I want someone who's understanding and patient with him. I do want someone who values family because he's my only son. And so I would love to welcome a daughter-in-law and have a close relationship with her. It would be heartbreaking if he chose someone who didn't want a relationship with me. So that is something that I really do hope and pray that he'll find someone who can become part of our family. I'll give them their space, but I always wanted a daughter, and I really do look forward to him finding someone, hopefully someone who meshes well with me. But if not, as long as they treat my son right with respect, I would love for them to have the same values. My son's kind of going through his own faith journey. I'm not sure where he stands right now with his faith. So I also pray that he'll strengthen his faith and then find someone who also has a strong faith. But again, I'll love and support whoever he ends up with. They better treat my kid right, though, or I will literally turn into Mama Bear. I just love him so much. He's just so wonderful, and whoever he is with needs to treat him correctly.
I feel very much that way, like with my sister. I don't think she's ever dated anyone either, but it's just like when the time comes, you better treat her right or else I'm going to find out where you sleep. So do you have advice for people who are stuck in a relationship that isn't good for them?
I would say you have to take care of yourself. You can pour into somebody else for the rest of your life and feel like that's good enough, that you're in a relationship, you have that person, even if they don't treat you well, but it truly will eventually affect you. And you might not realize it until you're a shell of the person you used to be. It's not worth it. It's really not. A relationship should be two ways. Even if you love them, it doesn't mean that you need to spend the rest of your life with them or be in a committed relationship with them. You can love people from afar, but you have to love yourself first, or else you can't truly love other people the way that they need to be loved if you're not caring for yourself. I would recommend talking to somebody, especially if there's abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse, anything where things are not fair or right, and you'll know when things aren't going the way they're supposed to be. And you're not stuck. You don't have to stay there, even if it feels like you'll never get over the heartbreak. Time eventually does make it hurt less. I just encourage you to love yourself, and it's hard, but find the strength to stand up for yourself and remove yourself from bad situations.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you, listeners, so much for your valuable time. This has been Joy on Romance or No-mance. Take care.